All right, and here we are back again. Today, I have Christine in the hot seat. Christine Neal is our Curry County Juvenile Justice Director. She's been in the role. Well, I'll let her explain how long you've been in the role and everything that you've done. But couple of things, just quick out the box.
Okay.
If you were a superhero, what would be your power and why?
Oh, superhero power would probably be super speed.
Okay.
I have a 3 and a 5-year-old at home, two active little boys that if I had super speed, I could cut off a lot of things before they happen.
There you go. Yes. Yeah, you'd be preventative maintenance.
Yes.
Oh, the little boys need to get in trouble once in a while. They need to scuff a knee and okay, good reasons. Second one. If you could have lunch with anybody living, who would you choose?
Anybody living. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that one before.
It's a tough one.
Everybody always asks, like a deceased person.
Sure. Anybody in time,
Anybody in time.
Yeah.
But lunch with anyone living. I would say. This one's going to be a little bit personal. I would say probably my uncle, just because I don't know. He just got a cancer diagnosis, so I don't know how much longer he has.
Oh.
So I'd like to have lunch with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That damn cancer. It got my mom. It got my dad. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last one. It's an easy one. Not as intense as the one before. If you had a choice and you could go back in time and spend 10 minutes with your prior self, or you could go in the future and spend 10 minutes with your future self, what would you choose?
Probably future, because everything that I've done in the past has led me to where I am now, and I don't think that there's anything, I wouldn't want to screw any of that up.
There you go. Good. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so Christine Neal, formerly Mather. For those who don't know, she was a Mather. Tell us about you.
Well, formerly Mather, born and raised in Gold Beach. We have a family ranch called the Bailey Ranch, north of Gold Beach a little bit, about a mile and a half. Raised on the ranch my entire life. Cows, sheep, sometimes pigs. Pigs are the worst. Horses, goats, all the things. We had chickens when I was really little, but that ended quickly because little kids and chickens aren't a good mix with a lot of chickens, as my mom would say. But graduate of Gold Beach High School, I'm a lifer.
Yeah.
Easy to say. I'm a third generation county employee. My grandpa was the county clerk for a long time, and my dad worked at the road department. My mom worked at the retired senior volunteer program, and then I started working for the district attorney's office in 2014, and then moved over to the juvenile department in 2018.
Yeah.
And then kind of the rest is history, and I've been in the director role since we unfortunately lost Wendy last year to Douglas County, and so I've been in this position for about a little over a year now.
Yeah, so well, even Taylor worked for the county.
Yeah.
Taylor ran
Taylor,
parks or
he
did parks
worked
for
in
me for a long
parks.
time.
Yeah. Well, and I guess my maternal grandmother worked for my paternal grandfather in the clerk's office as well. So just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
We're in it.
So, question: I was raised on a ranch too. Now, not a full. It was more of a horse ranch than a working, livestock ranch. But did you? So, did you ever do 4-H? Because your life was 4-H. So, like, I always just like kids who grow up in the ranching community, like, I just so.
And it was
Did you do 4-H?
yes. Yes
You lived
and
it.
no. I lived it. Was in horse 4-H, was in culinary 4-H, even did some pig and cow 4-H, but never actually showed any animals or did any like fair events.
Right, the animal husbandry or whatever.
Right, right. Growing up, I always entered a bunch of stuff into the fair, all that kind of stuff, but never showed animals, which looking back on it, I'm like, why didn't I?
Right.
I lived it.
Yeah.
So, no.
I know. 4-H is huge, and I love 4-H. It's so good for the kids and the community. And so, I went to the livestock auctions last year, and I see like the Kudlak kids, like Shayla's kids, right?
Yeah.
They grow up ranching, and then they also show up with these. Her son had one grand champion cow, I think, and
I was gonna say prize champion animals.
yeah, exactly. I thought, wow, that's a really good way to just like use your lifestyle as a way to also better prepare your children for whatever's next, because I mean, they earn a pretty good chunk of change for those critters.
Well, not only from a livestock auction, but if they get the grand champion, things like that, and then they go to the state fair,
Yeah,
they even have the chance to win even bigger prizes there. And so it's
it's a big deal.
it is.
It's a big deal. So, I mean, obviously we've had a little bit of history. So, as me being in me being in your role in my former life, and being involved with Taylor and coaching, and then him working parks and everything. So your dad, obviously, we split a cow once, with old John, and so, anyways, you have a strong history in Curry County. If you were going to give 2 reasons to your kids on why Curry County is a great place to be raised, what would you tell them?
Well, partially it might be controversial, but I loved growing up in a small town. I love that half of my best friends have been my best friends since kindergarten or before. And I think that is irreplaceable, especially in the world today of social media and things like that. Your support system is everything that you have. So the fact that I can lean on some of these people that I've known for 35 plus years, it makes it feel really special. And to know that I've been in close proximity, like we didn't meet online. We didn't meet, through the interwebs or anything like that.
Grew up together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that would be number 1. And then number 2, you can't beat where we live.
Oh, it's tough. It is unbeatable. You're right.
The beaches and the mountains and the river, and there's nothing like it.
No.
Growing up on a ranch, was always up in the hills, always all over the place. Really familiar with trees and plants and, I know what poison ivy looks like versus poison oak. Like,
Yeah.
not many people can say that unless you grew up here.
Right? Yeah.
Hunting, fishing, all of the things that Curry County offers is just unbeatable. And I would also say, my husband and I just had this conversation the other night. Both of us, lifers of Curry County, Gold Beach specifically. He was reading on Reddit the other day. Someone had no idea what it was like to see the ocean. And we just could not even fathom. Like, it was like, what?
Yeah.
How?
Right?
How have you never seen the ocean? And then we had the conversation of how lucky we are to live where we live and get the best of all the worlds.
100%.
So
100%. I remember, so one day when I was in the juvenile, so we had parks, and I had to go up to Lobster Creek, and anyways, I went to Lobster Creek and I came down through Ophir, right? And I remember I was trying to explain it to somebody who was from Arizona. I was like, I said, today I saw elk, deer, bear, and whales in the same day. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't get that very often. Where does that happen?
Span of 10 to
It was a
20
one
minutes.
drive.
Yeah.
It was literally from up there to the bottom that I saw, all of those things. And so it was pretty epic to try to explain that to somebody about where we live.
Just the range of,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so diving in. So you took over the juvenile department and last year, and how has that been since?
It's been a learning experience.
Yeah.
I got into working in the juvenile department as a juvenile probation officer to help and guide kids on a better path. And now that I'm the director, I don't get to hang out with kids as much.
Right?
It's a complete shift.
Yeah.
I have a very small caseload. I am currently the only one in the office that can handle sex offender cases. So I have a very small caseload. But I don't get to hang out with kids as much. And so I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
Right.
But I'm sure you, being in that same position, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
100%. 100%. And it's tough because when you're at the level you're at now, you're really focused on systems, right? And those systems are going to impact kids.
Exactly.
But you aren't the one applying the systems to impact the kids.
Yeah.
Which, I understand. But however, the one thing you're going to do that I think you're going to realize you will take a lot of enjoyment from is you're going to impact staff who then find their purpose in impacting kids.
That is true.
And it's a pretty cool moment when you see staff members, like when the light switch goes on and they realize just exactly how much impact they have and how much influence they have over these kids in a positive way, and they start to own that. I mean, Wendy watched it happen with you. I didn't. Wendy was well deep into her purpose when I got there, so Wendy was an anomaly. She was. I mean, I worked with a lot of people in this industry, and she I called in the 5% of people who were lucky enough to just land in their true purpose and own it. She was amazing at what she did. I don't think I have to explain that to you. Carly too, though.
Yeah.
Carly too. I mean,
Well, and Carly's still doing it. I mean, just in a different capacity.
yeah, we all saw that coming too. Let's not lie, for sure. Right?
100%.
She was running like every youth athletic event there was possible. Like Carly was running it, and
Well, she still runs it. She still
I know.
runs Rotary basketball every year, almost solely by herself. Which I don't know how she does it, but
it's wild. It's wild. I know when I talk to her about wanting to start the flag football program. She was pretty excited about that. And that was a really fun process and a fun program. But yeah, so the nice thing is that now you get to surround yourself with people who thrive off the same purpose you do. You get to reinstill that or instill that if they don't have it already, and you have an incredible team.
As I say, we're small but mighty.
Yes, you have a great team.
Yes.
I mean, you guys are definitely like high performing people. And so for people who don't know, our juvenile department is something to be extremely proud of. We have one of the lowest recidivism rates in the state, which that means, one of the entire goal of juvenile probation is to prevent them from reoffending. That's called recidivism. And so when you have one of the lowest recidivism rates in the state, it speaks tremendous volumes about the level of work that you do. And I will say this, the numbers can't be hidden or skewed. In larger communities, they may have so many kids that they can create a metric that just changes the stat just a touch to make it look a little better. But in a small community, you don't have those types of numbers. So the numbers are what they are, and the numbers really expose you. It only takes a couple of people to really change, that stat. And, so it's just one of the metrics that we can all measure the effectiveness of the program from. And needless to say, year after year, Curry County has one of the best juvenile programs in the state. And I would boil it down to, in my opinion, a couple of key elements. Number one, they're driven to be the best trained with what we have offerings, driven to put together the best teams, and driven to instill programs that are tailored for our community, not just open the book, follow the pages types of programs, right? Those don't ever work. But the biggest ingredient is care. You care, and I would say that's the greatest derivative of almost all of your outcomes. Is you care enough. You care enough to follow up. You care enough to follow through. You care enough to hold the people accountable. You care enough to make sure people are noticed. You care enough to advocate for those who aren't advocated for, while still holding high levels of accountability. Like, people don't understand that you can still advocate for a youth and still hold them accountable. Right?
Right.
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. But I'm sure you'll talk about, or you may touch on a little bit, but when you over advocate for an individual without any accountability, that's where it gets into enablement. which leads to a lot of the youth coming to the program. Uh, but you'll dive into that, I'm sure. So a couple of things that we're going to discuss today, or a couple of things that Christine's going to provide is right now we decided to do this podcast because the school year is coming to a close, which means kids are going into summer, and the summer there's a lot of freedoms in the summer, a lot of time. And so Christine's going to give us some ideas about what to look out for during the summer as a parent, what you can do to best prevent. If you feel like maybe your son or daughter is heading down a path that you're not comfortable with, or maybe hanging out with kids you're not comfortable with, or getting involved in material that you're not comfortable with, some methods you can utilize to help prevent that, or address those issues as we go into summer. This is going to be a very valuable, I think, discussion, not only for a parent, but a grandparent, or anybody who's truly involved with youth. Communities in the very sense of the word community involves our youth. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Just some resources for parents and youth coming into the summer season. The Juvenile and Prevention Department, we provide alcohol and drug education.
Wait, one quick second.
Yes.
One thing that I totally glossed over. Can we just, for once and for all, and it won't be once and for all because we're going to do it again and again and again, but can we dispel some of the stigmas associated with juvenile department? So,
oh, absolutely.
I'll give you an example, right? I remember we had a school administrator who, was not wanting to get the juvenile department involved because, there was these school to prison pipeline talks back in the day, right? It was a big discussion. You get youth involved with the law enforcement. It's a gateway to a life of crime. All this complete nonsense. And I used to explain, look, the juvenile department is more inclined to work in a preventative mode than they are in a reactive probationary mode, essentially.
No, yeah.
And even the probationary mode is very much a preventative action. And for instance, so when I don't know if we still do this, but when I was there, we would have all the police chiefs, mayors, and electeds sign a zero tolerance clause, right? So if a youth was found with drugs or alcohol, there was a zero tolerance. Meaning, look, if you caught them, you weren't going to just let them go, right? You weren't. So in my chances, giving chances does not lead to change. Intervention leads to change. And if you question that, just think about the last time you got pulled over and you got a warning on a speeding ticket. How many minutes it took you after that ticket to be back speeding? Okay, so it's pretty universal. Very, very, very rarely do chances ever lead to change. And we used to promote, look, we're not in the business of trying to punish children, but we are in the business of working to try to better them. And if that means they need interventions for maybe an addiction or for anything like that, then a lot of times those resources aren't available to the parents that are available to you.
Yeah.
And that's what ends up creating the opportunity for change. So this is a pretty passionate topic because it was pretty much most of my career was spent with youth. So, but can you talk about how probation and prevention and the mission of those to just get rid of the stigma?
One of our pillars of juvenile justice is restorative justice, which, means that we want to restore basically humanity's faith in this youth. We want to hold them accountable. We want them to be able to pay back any type of retribution that they have caused to the community. Safety, community safety is always number one. But we hold them accountable. We do community service. We have apology letters, accountability letters, things like that. Everything to pay back the community for the wrongdoings that they have done. We want them, for better or for worse, to be the best version of themselves when they leave our department. That is our main goal. You say stigmas, lock them up, all that kind of stuff, scared straight. That's a thing of the past. Like I said, our main pillar is restorative justice. We want to keep kids in the community. We want to keep kids thriving in their home environment if that's the best thing for them. We don't want to send kids out of the community because that's our community. How are we supposed to connect them to our community if we're sending them outside?
Right. Unless it's for a specific service. Like if they're
Exactly.
going to get treatment.
They're going to get treatment, which we do not have any inpatient treatment in Curry County for any type of ailment or affliction, unfortunately. But we do have some really wonderful outpatient programs. But if it rises to a higher level of care, we do have to send kids out of the county, which unfortunately for some substances, drug and alcohol use, has been more frequent in the recent past. But behavioral placements and things like that, we use very sparingly. So really, it's about keeping kids in the community and showing them what they can do to make themselves better and make the community a better place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I applaud that effort because, so in the residential setting, right? In the residential setting, you're creating a sterile environment, an environment that doesn't have the factors that they're going to deal with in real life. Now, you try to create scenarios that pretend about those factors and then walk them through, but it's not the same. So, assisting the youth to navigate their natural environment as opposed to a sterile one is the best method, if possible.
Right.
Now, there are times when the youth have to be separated for a while, and then you reintegrated.
Exactly.
And I'm glad you brought up restorative justice because a lot of times people don't understand that if youth, anybody who wrongs or harms another has a very difficult time reintegrating unless they work to restore the wrongs that they did, right? And you brought up apology letters, you brought up things of that nature, things to restore the relationship or restore whatever it may be, the accountability, if there was damage, the financial, whatever the case may be. But restorative justice is so vital to what you do. Being effective at what you do. Because it's easy to take the path of least resistance and just be like, yep, you did your thing, go do your,
Go do your time.
yep, get it, and then get out there, go get them, Tiger, right? So, but that's not a realistic outlook.
No.
That's not a caring outlook. And so it can be harder to do restorative justice, but it is certainly more valuable.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I wanted to just address that stigma because, a lot of times people think, oh, juvenile probation. Here's the other thing. You don't have to be, a child does not need to be put on probation to have services from our juvenile department. They have a prevention program that's outstanding. So if you have a child that you feel could use a little bit of intervention and the child is willing to participate, they have a full prevention program. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. I have it in our resources.
Oh. Well, then
Yes.
why don't you just do your thing?
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
So mainly for the juvenile and prevention department, which we have a juvenile prevention program, but we also house the prevention department since we no longer have public health at the county level. So we not only do prevention for youth, but we also cover prevention for the entire county of alcohol, drug, tobacco, problem gambling, all of the things across the lifespan. So we're not just focused on juveniles in prevention. But for the probation part, we are
Yeah.
just juveniles. But we house alcohol and drug education, cessation and tobacco or vape education. We have free UA kits for kids and families and other drug testing kits. We have COVID kits, we have condoms, we have youth resource rooms and caring closets in each of our offices in Brookings and Gold Beach. The caring closets usually house a small selection of clothing, personal hygiene items, things of that nature. We also have both offices are filled with snacks and not, I wouldn't say nutritious foods, but belly-filling foods that we know
Sure.
that kids will eat. We also have lock boxes for medication. We have prescription take-back bags and sharp containers. And we also will help with referrals to any outside agencies for higher level of services. Like I said, we can handle a lot of alcohol and drug education, tobacco, vape education, and things like that. In fact, right before this podcast, I was teaching a cessation class. Because we are down a prevention specialist, so I have taken on that role, or taken on
Sure.
that role.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, our juvenile prevention program really is just an advocate for the youth. If they are struggling in school, struggling at home, or any combination of any of that, we can help them with skill building, and this also goes for obviously juvenile probationers as well. But probationers aren't voluntary. Prevention program for juveniles is. And we've been partnering a lot with the wraparound program at Adopt lately with our prevention program to really give a full scope of services to these prevention youth. Which leads me into more resources for parents and youth. We have ADAPT for RAP. Like I said, we work really closely with the RAP program. And then mental health and SUD programs as well. They have juvenile and adult programs that we can help refer to, can help get you involved with at any time. Just a couple other local resources. Local library summer programs. Some have food, some have reading programs, some are movie programs. Just taking advantage of any summer schooling programming or faith-based programming for youth is really important. And then South Coast ESD, which covers, I believe, Coos and Curry. Pathways to Positive Parenting. We get asked all the time about parenting classes. We don't house any parenting classes, but Pathways to Positive Parenting on the South Coast ESD site wealth of information. They have Zoom meetings, they have in-person meetups, they have all sorts of things that are just their amazing wealth of information. This is my last one for parents, which is a very unpopular opinion for the youth. Life 360 or any other GPS apps are a really great way to stay connected to your youth during the summer. If you're having a hard time locating them, I mean, obviously kids can turn off Life 360 or turn off their GPS or location apps, but if your kid has a phone, I think it's pretty important to have that that part.
Yeah, I was.
As a,
So speaking of that, it was crazy. So we were at a softball tournament, and it was, I don't know, like maybe let's just say a month ago, and we were getting ready for the morning for the games, right? And I'm like, where's so and so? And like 3 girls,
they're like, let me
boom, and they're looking and they're like, oh, she's almost here. She's in the parking lot. I'm like, what? So they share their Life 360 with each other. It was crazy. I was like, that's a little weird, but they're into it. So
well, it's been really interesting since the onset of like Life 360 or sharing location and stuff like that. Doing the JCP risk assessment, which is the Juvenile Crime Prevention Risk Assessment that every kid that walks through the door, we do an assessment on. One of the questions is, and this is we ask parents and youth, do you know where your kid is?
right.
Do you know what their location is? And they're like, oh yeah, we've got Life 360. Or, oh yeah, like, growing up, my parents didn't know where I was. I mean...
Oh, me neither.
Like, even though it's a small town, even though, it's not a big area, but they had to call 3 friends' parents' houses, like call the landlines to check in to see if that's the house that I was at. But now, Life 360 or GPS location. Done.
Easy. I used to, this is way back. Well, I mean, whatever, it's all relative. But I used to call home collect, right?
Oh yeah.
So then you in the middle where it said like when you go to call collect, it would say your name, and then I'd be like, I'm at the movie theater, right? And then that was how I would communicate. It was we all had our ways.
Exactly. So those are resources for parents and youth. If at any time anyone has any questions about resources for youth, I encourage them to reach out to us. We have a main line. We have a prevention email that goes to 3 different staff. Or just stop by the office. We're usually open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 in Gold Beach, closed for lunch from 12 to 1. The Brookings office is usually open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to about 5, depending on who's staffed down there. But we have 2 probation officers that are there any given days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
But can you tell everyone where the locations are?
Yes. That would probably be
It's helpful.
helpful information. The Gold Beach office is located behind the Curry County Courthouse. We are adjacent to Christian Help and the Annex. And then in Brookings, we are located at 517 Railroad Avenue. We are right across from Railroad Market, and we are in the same building as the Veterans Services.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what do we have to watch out for?
Couple of things to watch out for in youth. I would say always a good rule of thumb to know your youth's friends' first and last names, not nicknames, not aliases, because a lot of kids go by alternative names nowadays, aliases, AKAs, anything like that. Their home address and then at least one parent's name. I would really look out for extreme isolation, not hanging out with friends, staying inside in their room more than usual, and then limiting themselves to one or very few friends, like out of the norm. Escalated irritability, which would also be out of the norm of a normal teenager or normal adolescent child. Could be a sign of an underlying issue, substance, mental health, or emotional disturbance. And then don't be afraid to talk to your kids. If you need assistance in approaching a subject, always ask for help. You can ask us for help. You can ask, ask a teacher, ask school officials. I mean, they're with your kids more than you are typically. So
Yeah.
if you need help talking to your kid, just ask for help.
Okay.
And then I do have to highlight some dangerous trends that have been going around lately, especially with social media.
Perfect.
TikTok and other social media like Instagram and things like that. Some of the trends are harmless, the little dances and things like that. But when it comes to substances, there have been a few that have been recurring over the last, I don't know, I'm going to say at least 2 years, maybe possibly even 3, that can have some serious health effects. The Benadryl challenge, which I don't know if you've heard of that, but kids, youth, young adults have been taking Benadryl in large doses, that it can give you some sort of high, like an opiate, but it can do serious damage to kidneys, liver, urinary tracts, and even brain function. I know a couple of years ago, there was a Benadryl challenge in Crescent City, and one of the kids actually ended up in a coma for about 17 days or something like that. And we've had a few youth in and around our community, from Brookings to Port Orford, that have also taken part in the Benadryl challenge. They're taking large amounts to see how many that they can handle, or it's being commonly used to attempt suicide, unfortunately. And we've had a few in the last 2 years within Curry that have shared with us they have lasting medical effects
from it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So that's a big one.
Yeah,
I would say that is probably the biggest one for parents to watch out for. I mean, you wouldn't think that Benadryl would be a big issue.
Right.
Use it when you have allergies and things like that. But, and then other experimentation with over-the-counter drugs, over-the-counter medications, things like that. We've been seeing that a lot more lately. Any other cold meds, allergy meds, even anti-diarrheal like Imodium AD. They call it the poor man's methadone. If you take it in large doses, gives you a high.
And you don't go to the bathroom for several
And
minutes?
apparently you go, yeah, I don't know that end of it, but kids are using them by themselves or mixing them with other substances like alcohol, other medications, or marijuana to try and test out different highs that places them in medical issues. And there has been a significant, I would say a significant increase in medical calls for youth overdosing on medication.
Over the counter stuff. It's not a secret that a lot of our kids in our county are raised by their grandparents.
No, yeah.
I mean, I was. And I know, back then one of the biggest concerns was, grandma or grandpa's
Prescription
medication.
Yeah.
Is that still an issue?
I would say it's not as big of an issue as it used to be. But it is still an issue, which we do provide lock boxes for any type of medication, even marijuana. If there's marijuana in the home, we have lock boxes that families can take and lock up their medications, their marijuana, anything that they wouldn't want a youth to use. They can lock it up and keep it safe at home.
Okay. What else is going on? Any other trends?
I mean, I think this is just, I don't know if it's just our rural community, but alcohol is always a big one.
Of course.
That's not really new or anything that's changed. But alcohol seems to be pretty normal recurring theme. It's just the ages keep getting younger and younger. I think we now are getting referrals for alcohol at 11 and 12 instead of like 13, 14, 15.
Right.
Or even, 16 to 18. Sure. So that's getting, just kind of the age of onset is becoming younger and younger, which I think is a concerning trend.
Mm-hmm. What about vaping? I know it's been a big topic in schools.
Vaping is a huge issue.
Okay.
In the state of Oregon right now, and I believe it's been this way since 2021, it unfortunately is not illegal for a youth to have a tobacco product. If it's on school property or on school grounds, schools can take action as it's part of their code of conduct, which we have put into place alternatives to suspension, which is tobacco or vape cessation, or education classes, depending on the amount of referrals that we've gotten for the said youth. But the state of Oregon needs to do better with tobacco and tobacco laws. We don't have any criminal citations for youth currently for tobacco or vapes.
So
it's illegal for them to purchase between 18 and 21, but when they were doing legislation, they kind of missed the part of anyone under 18.
Or 21 possessing. Is that right?
Yeah.
So purchasing, not okay. Possessing,
18 to 21,
gray area.
Gray area.
Yeah.
Under 17, law enforcement can write a citation and forward it to us. There's just very little that we can do action-wise.
Enforcement-wise.
Yeah.
So, it brings me back to the whole 110 debacle.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know, this was not just a little misstep. When 110 came out, Measure 110, it not only decriminalized hard drugs for adults, but for youth. They didn't put ages. So during that time period, for people who don't know, this is how backwards we had it all. A youth, this is the scenario that I use to just put it into perspective. If a youth was caught on the riverbank and they have a beer, they have a joint, they have meth, they have cocaine, and they're fishing with a lead lure, they're going to get an MIP for the alcohol and for the marijuana. They're going to get a $100 fix-it ticket for the meth and the cocaine.
The worst part about that is that in 2022, all fines and fees were abolished for youth.
For you, so,
So they wouldn't even have the fine. They would get the quit line or the treatment line.
yes. So no actual, so the meth and the cocaine, there would be no consequence. They'd get an MIP for the marijuana and for the alcohol, and then they would get a misdemeanor for fishing with a lead lure.
Even if they had proper fishing license and everything
Right.
like that.
Yes. So just to put it in perspective on how backwards everything was. Now, it's been repealed, and I think we're in a better direction now.
Yes.
But it sounds like the same mistakes were being made with tobacco use in our minors, and that hasn't been fixed.
Has not.
Okay.
Sounds like it has. They've been working on it since that time, but nothing's been passed through yet.
Now, schools, establishments can make things illegal, to use on their grounds, so that's a different ball game than, walking down the sidewalk. But it sounds like it's still not completely fixed, and we need to get that fixed.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, good follow-up for me. I mean, I definitely can advocate for that, certainly. I didn't know. So back to the vaping then. So is it difficult to hold? Because I know the vaping in the schools is like, it's becoming a lot.
Yeah.
It's becoming, and like you said, the ages are getting younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
So, number one, what are the things that parents need to look for if they suspect this is going on?
I would go back to the extreme isolation or the escalated irritability. If they're doing it at school or they're doing it with their friends, and obviously that behavior is not tolerated at home or they can't get it at home, they're going to go through withdrawal symptoms. And especially with how addictive nicotine is, it can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Especially with how concentrated most vapes are. It's just, and they keep coming out with new, better systems that, get into your system faster or give you a higher concentration of nicotine and it's just mixed with all different sorts of chemicals that
No idea.
they have no idea what they're putting in their body.
Sure. Yeah. We're past yellow number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about the blue 5 anymore or
Red 2.
yeah.
Yeah. We're
The fruits, the artificial fruit snacks are the least of your worries.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And do you have a prevention program for any of this for the youth?
Right now we have for specifically vaping, we are working with the schools to do alternatives to suspension, which basically if they are caught with anything on campus, a vape, tobacco products, anything like that, the referral gets sent to us. They and their parent decide on what program they would like to use. Right now, I believe we are only implemented in the Central Curry School District, but it was going to be implemented in Brookings for the next school year and also Port Arthur for next school year.
Great.
And so once we get that referral, the program that the youth and the parent both have decided on and picked, then we begin that with them, and it's either a 6 to 10 session classes. They take place at school. We do it during an advisory period or in a period that the school deems is appropriate, and we take care of it that way. And if they successfully complete those classes, they don't get the suspension at school.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we've had 5 successful completions so far out of Gold Beach.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Not that 5 kids were caught,
Right.
whatever, but that they completed the program.
And we do, I mean, outside of that, if a prevention referral is sent straight to the department, which parents can refer, community members can refer, school obviously can refer, they can send us the prevention referral, or they can request a prevention referral for vape, tobacco, education, anything like that, and we can provide that.
Okay.
Also, it's voluntary, but
Sure.
as long as the kiddo is on board, then absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to go over? You want to leave families with, or brag on about your team?
We talked about being small but mighty. We have 2 full-time probation officers and 1 full-time operations manager / victims advocate, and we just go nonstop.
Do you have any openings?
We do in the prevention department. We currently have a prevention specialist opening, and then potentially maybe more openings in the future. But that's another discussion after the budget process for the county. And basically the prevention specialist works with everyone throughout the county. We hold community events, we participate in community events, so a lot of it is traveling from Port Orford to Brookings and Brookings to Port Orford and everywhere in between. But it is really providing the county with resources for, like I talked about earlier, the alcohol, tobacco, opioids and other drugs, and the problem gambling prevention.
Okay. Well, there you are. If you are interested, just reach out.
Yeah.
You want to be part of the prevention team. Pretty cool team, by the way. Okay. Anything else you want to leave the folks with?
Don't be afraid to talk to your kids. I think that if you think that there might be something going on, 9 times out of 10, there probably is something going on.
Right.
And again, don't be afraid to talk to your kids
Yeah.
before it gets too late.
Sure. No, that is the ultimate prevention.
Yeah.
Is just having healthy conversations.
Conversations with your kids.
Yeah, and some boundaries. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Christine. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for giving us some time today.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll plan to do this again towards the end of summer as we get back into school.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about all of those trends and things to look for as we go back into the classroom.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you, everyone,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon.
All right.
Okay.